So I'm making this video today because I just want people to use my story as an inspiration and a means to stay humble, because I have been on both sides of life as far as being successful and being unsuccessful. And currently, I'm unsuccessful. And I'm not unsuccessful in the way of like gratitude or my spirituality or my love for life. I'm unsuccessful in the way of like the rat race, the financial race, and just finances in general. And I don't really view things as a race anymore. I've actually learned to not compare yourself or not kind of get so caught up in like the comparison of like where you're at and where somebody else is at, and things of that nature. And sometimes I wish that I had this mindset when I was younger, but I've never really had a mentor that was able to like guide me through what it is that you don't know you need to be guided through. So I've always kind of done things in the dark, and obviously you meet people along the way that have like little pieces of information. If you're blessed to have two parents, you know, that are in your life. I had one, but obviously, well, not obviously, but she's just always busy or working or just trying to make ends meet, so you just have to figure things out on your own. And then you get to a point where it's like, damn, you think you have it figured out. And, nobody really tells you that, one mistake can take it all from you. And you're listening to somebody that made that one mistake. So I'm 32 years old and I've had an interesting life, and I'm at a point where I don't know what to do because there's just so many options, and there's so many, and it's like, let's just stop on options, right? Like, the idea of an option is supposed to be a positive thing. And I've learned that options can also be negative because you're getting pulled in so many directions. All I really want to do is focus on my brand, but there's just so much fluff and static and cloudiness in the pursuit of building that sometimes I don't know what to do. Because when I did it, when you're younger, you have the drive, and I still have the drive. But when you're younger, it's a little bit more raw, it's a little bit more thoughtless, it's a little bit more fresh. So you're able to build. And when I was younger, bro, I just focused on other people's brand and not my own. And I didn't build anything for myself to like have for myself. So like you get to a point where you burn out, then you get past the burnout, and then now you're trying to rebuild, and that's where I'm at. And I just want to come on here today to say, well, for one, that I'm using this as documentation to kind of keep myself accountable and hopefully inspire people to make it through, and just show that I will make it through. And I'm using this as a moment to really just gauge where I'm at. And I just feel like, as long as you try, you'll get by. So I'm trying, and I will continue to try. And I just pray that it pays off. But all I can do is try. I think we're all in, not all, but a lot of us are in similar situations, regardless of the variables of it. And people come on here and they tend to only want to talk about the highlights. And I've never been a person that only wanted to talk about the highlights. Excuse me if I'm a little rough, I'm literally just making this to make it. But I've never been a person that only wanted to talk about the highlights, because that's just not what real life is. So I've always, not hyper fixated, but put a magnifying glass or a scope on the highlights more than the average person would like to, because I've never wanted people to think that my life was perfect. And regardless of the fact of how transparent you are with it not being perfect or not being what people think it is, they're always going to have an idea of you in their head. And it's almost like an invincible armor. Like, you can never, you always got it going on, or you always got, you're always busy, you're always this. And I just like to tell people sometimes that, like, being busy isn't always the best thing in the world. Like, it's not always because I want to be. Sometimes I'm just busy because I'm surviving. And that's just the truth. And I'm 32. I have $1,000 to my name. I don't know. I have no job. I work when I can, when something comes my way, but I don't have anything stable. And stability has always been something that was in my life in a way, because, like, for example, I was a cinematographer for almost a decade, and, like, though I had to go and make my money and hunt my money, I was just in a different space mentally where that's what I knew I had to do, and that brought me stability. But with that, I never built a platform, so it kind of gets taken away from me, because there's always somebody younger, always somebody new with better ideas, fresher ideas. So when you don't have, especially in a social climate, when you don't have the social proof, let me just make sure this is recording, y'all. Okay, it is. When you don't really have the social proof to show, I'm sorry, my flow just broke. But yeah, when you just don't have the social proof to, show that you are doing, just, you did what you did, like, it can really invalidate you in a lot of people's eyes. And even though you're not supposed to live by validation in the business world, like, people like credibility. So it's a weird medium to live within. I've made so many accounts, deleted accounts, studied algorithms, studied methods, studied this. I've studied everything you can with social media, and ultimately, like, it never really changes. Like, there's never really new variables. There's never really, it does actually, they actually train you to think that it's changing, and it doesn't. Like, the same things are always going to work because we are dealing with humans. So I was just kind of veered off there. But yeah, I just didn't really build the platform. So now, like, when you're, oh yeah, I'm a cinematographer, it's like, that doesn't really hold weight, because where's your work? And it's like, I didn't build a platform. Like, yeah, I had videos scattered around, but it's like, I didn't know. And that just goes back to the mentor thing. I just didn't know. And I don't like to blame people for where I'm at, but anymore, at least, because I came from a place where I was. But ultimately, I was making the decision, no matter, who I was involved with, or we were involved with. I was making the decisions, to include or be around or further everyone else but myself. So that's not really a them thing, that's a me thing. So it's just been difficult because, like, I haven't worked a true 9 to 5 in, like, over a decade, and everything has been contractual work. Like, even I went into insurance and I tried to try a new career route, and it was going great, but insurance is really, like, you gotta fight for your money, but you make so much. But I've never made that much money fast legally in my life, because, like, even with cinematography, like, you're making money fast, but it's not like thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, sometimes insurance, I was making in a month half of what I was making in a whole year shooting videos. So it was just an interesting situation, and, like, you're just making money so fast and in abundance when you have found your food. And what I mean by that is, like, insurance, because I was doing, like, property and, like, auto. So, like, you would have to, like, sign up for firms and do all these things as far as, like, figuring out where your next dollar was going to come from, being persistent, being consistent. I mean, these are all things that I always thought I wasn't really good at, and I actually was. And like, that just kind of goes back to like discrediting yourself. And I've always been so hard on myself and discrediting yourself. And I'm learning to give myself grace and just not be so hard and to take it easy and to trust self. Like, I've never put myself in a position to do those things, and it's never really been instilled in me to do those things. It's always been like outside factors that people are pointing to for you to like trust and believe in. And it's like, damn, when you get to a certain point, you're like, yo, like, yeah, you should believe in outside factors, but at the end of the day, I still have to move my body. I still have to make the choice. I still have to make the decision, and I still have to do what it is that I need to do. I have to move me. Like, that's just the reality to it. It's not like there's something controlling me. Even though I feel like my story is written, it's not like there's something controlling me. But, I'm a 32-year-old man. I'm single, and I live with my mom. Like, that's not where you want to be at 32. But when you, with like that trust thing that I was saying, I've trusted God, and the outside source to give myself the trust as well, to just get through the journey and understand that just because it's not where you want to be, maybe it's where you need to be. And just to slow down and reevaluate things and try to figure out where you want to go next on your journey. And I really, really, really wish people did that more. And I truly feel like if you are in a messed up financial situation, it's very hard, especially coming from a decent one. It's extremely hard. Like, but you have to try and you have to figure it out. Like, I'm 25K in debt, but when you're 25K in debt and you don't have a steady income, it feels like you're $250,000 in debt. And I've had a 750 credit. I've learned all this financial literacy, and like, when everything is just deteriorating, you feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to do. People are getting pregnant, people have kids, their kids are going to school, they're getting married, engaged, all type of things, and you're just trying to refigure out your situation. And yeah, I have gone through depressive episodes, and I've tried my best not to take it out on people, but those little moments when you do take it out and it's not them, it's you, are really bad. And like, you can get, I don't want to necessarily say out of character, but you can get a certain way. And I just want to remind people to check themselves and to not be afraid to apologize and not be afraid to, lead with honor or lead with egolessness or lead with no pride or approach things with no ego or no pride, because it's not that deep. And everything, hold on, let me check again. Okay. But yeah, and sorry again, but yeah, just, it's not that deep, and you just have to understand that it's not. And hold yourself accountable. Just going back to like, what are we gonna do to get ourselves out of this? And I just want to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to. And if you've made it this far, I appreciate you. But I'm just gonna hold myself accountable and claw and work my way out of this situation. I've prayed. But it's time to stop being sad. It's time to stop being depressed. Because even though, people are asking, are you good? And it's like, yeah, I'm good. But you know that you're not, I'm not sad and I'm not depressed, because I know what that really looks like for me. But I know I'm not me, right? And I just lost an important person in my life, and the situation was because of them, but how I handled it was because of me. And I don't want to necessarily say, because I don't know about right and wrongs, positive and negatives. Like, I don't know about that anymore. But I know that I mishandled it, and I regressed back to a person that I was. And like, I just have layers, and like I put protective layers on handling situations. So like, if I'm trying to handle things a certain way and like it just gets down to the last layer, I don't know, I just kind of break. And this is like, bro, okay, whatever. But I need to add another protective layer where it was like, even if things are not handled a certain way, just walk away. Like, I've been learning to do that, and I have been doing that. I've been learning to close my mouth. Silence is really, truly golden, but I've been learning to close my mouth, and I just been learning that um it's just not take things personal. It's not the end of the world. And like, emotions pass, emotions fade, and what truly matters will always be in your heart and your head. But again, I just want to hold myself accountable, and I want to hold you accountable as well. Like, do what you need to do to take the steps to go towards building and growing out of the hole you're in. Like, ultimately, you or I can blame whoever we want, and that's not what we need to be doing. We need to be um taking accountability for your position, looking at who's helping us and who's helping you and who's helping myself, being grateful for that, watching your tongue, watching your attitude, and just work and do what you have to do. Working isn't a bad thing. Like, yes, this word capitalism, but working can give you purpose, and it's not a bad thing. And don't look at it as some impoverished condition or some impoverished situation, because that's not what it is. Working is actually a blessing, and that being to be a blessing to take care of whatever you want to or choose to take care of in your life. So I just want to kind of start my accountability journey to myself with this video, and just kind of do what it is I need to do. Like, I don't know, this can get fun, might have a debt clock or whatever, but I'm just gonna I don't want to do too many edits, and I don't want to do too much theatrical things. I just want to keep y'all updated on my journey. I'm building a hat brand from my state, and I love music, and I love making music, and I love business, and I'm gonna make it work. And I haven't said that in a while. This video almost made me want to cry, but I haven't said that in a while. But I'm gonna make it work, and I'm gonna do what I have to do in order to be the person that I know that I am. That's like deep down there, and it all starts with correcting my situation. Again, if you made it this far, thank you. I'll see you in the next one.